welcome back. It's Tuesday the 15th of January and it's about 1:45 in the afternoon, so I'm really late mashing in. I had a few people pop round earlier and we sat and chatted for quite some time. Didn't actually get a chance to do anything, so I'm just bringing the strike water up to temp. Came out of here at 74, went into there, dropped down to about 66, so that's no use whatsoever as a strike temperature. So I want to bring this up. This is not on auto, this is on manual, recirculating through the herms. I want to bring this up to about 74. I'm going to mash in at 74, that will drop it down to 68, and then I'll put this on, obviously on auto. But isn't it nice that this doesn't flicker as much now that I've found this pro video thing on my phone? So what we're doing? We're doing a bitter. So we've got the grist all ready. There's Maris Otter Ale. There's some medium crystal, and there's some flaked maize. Oh, flaked maize, and a load of oat husks. Quite a lot of oat husks. Don't know why. Trying to avoid a stuck mash and all that sort of stuff. And oat husks do impart a little bit of texture and body and stuff, but not a massive amount. So yeah, and then we're going to use the Bond yeast from a WHC. Not sure if I'll stick with that. I might just try and keep regenerating the Sussex one yeast. We shall see. Right, so let's let that get up to speed, or even up to temperature. So when that's hit 74, I would then chuck the grain bill into the super insulated mash tun. Should also mention, bloody cold today. In fact, outside -1. Look at that. At 2 o'clock in, well, 10 to 2, 13 minutes to 2, it's -1. That's just why it's taking that a little while to get up to temperature. Well, that's good enough for me. Wouldn't be right if the PID hadn't overshot, would it? Of course it's got to overshoot by 1.12 degrees. Anyway, it doesn't really matter for this recipe. Anywhere around 67 to 69 is probably alright, but it would be nice if it was a little bit more accurate. Well, took Marley for a nice walk, so we've had a little bit longer mash in than normal, about an extra, well, not massively, 5-10 minutes. Nice colour, impressed with the colour. Just done a conversion test, seems to be converted. I think I did a piece about the pH, so everything looking reasonably good. And this is the bit where we start the sparge and clear the herms and clear this sight glass. Beautiful. There we have, Sparge has started. Oh, something I didn't mention about this brew is I'm going with native tap water. I will put the oh Christ, we've got a couple of kids on one of those little moto bike things, not a proper motorbike, a moto bike. They're gonna end up fucking killing themselves. Yeah. I'll put the Murphy's water report on screen, and we're down on everything that we should have for the ideal water profile for a bitter, but we're not down so far as to, why have I got a fucking drip? Christ. Oh well, could be worse. It's coming out of here. Brilliant. Oh well, put a bucket, stick a bucket underneath it. Such is. Right, back when we're ready to start, well, we are transferring, but back when we're ready to start the boil going. That leak was quite easily fixed by sticking a Jubilee clip on here. Twat. Right, so we're nearing the end of the Sparge, and it's a lovely colour. Can't really see from here. So I'm bringing it up to 65 because I know I'm going to get a boil off of at least 10 litres. It's a 90-minute boil. So drop me down to about 55, and then by the time it goes into wherever I've put the... Where have I put it? That's over there with star sand in it. The fermenter. Leave a bit of kettle tube in the bottom. Yeah, job's a good one. This is easier than standing on tiptoe or going around the back. It's going to wait for it to go through the hot break, which is probably about to happen. There we go. It should start to rise up. And obviously that's turned off. Oh, you've done it again. I'm not going to bother. Not going to bother bleeping it out this time. I'm just gonna live with it. I'm going to increase the power. Right. Oh, stretching my arm out. So what I've done is I've set this to 102, but I'm going to reset it so that it starts its calculations again. So here we go. So we're at 99.9. Wait for it to rise up, which it might not. Might not now. Oh, you. I don't know what to do with this. I think I should just right. I don't know why it does this. Right, I've set it at 102.1 degrees. It's at 99.8. So that should now stay on. It's staying on. A little fucker on a motorbike outside again. Well, we have a boil at 100% power. Doesn't look like that's going to boil over now. So I think what I'm going to do... Oh, you fuck. Right, I'm going to switch to manual. And I'm going to set this at 85. Right, so that's at 85. That's good. Maybe drop it a little bit more. It's at 80%. Doesn't seem to have made a huge amount of difference, does it? Interestingly though, this is... Oh, right. I suppose what I could also do is set that up to about 150 degrees and then just have it on one element and keep one element on full time. I don't know. Right, we've got a boil anyway. Fuck it. So, and this is... I don't know what this is doing. Even though it's on manual, It still seems to be dicking about. This is not the most enthralling of videos, is it? I'll stop, I think, and come back when it's time to dump the hops in. The hop additions. Now I got these ready a couple of days ago, just to make sure that I had everything that I needed. So there's Progress, 60 grams, 80 grams, sorry, goes in at 60 minutes. This is a 90-minute boil, so in about half an hour after the boil starts I will chuck those in. And then at 30 minutes, so an hour into the boil, there's 80 grams of Brambling Cross. And then flame out, we've got Fuggles 46 and East Kent Golding 46, so they go in at flame out. You might notice this one is slightly bigger than the other two, and the reason for that vacuum sealer is really good. So I'm using leaf hops. Excuse me. I hadn't realised I had a big bag of Progress leaf hops that someone gave me. So I've put them in this bag. Not that I think it's going to make a huge amount of difference, but on the pickup arm in the kettle I've spun it so that it should leave about 3 or 4 litres in the bottom, and by the time the Whirlpool's finished, I mean, you can see just, you know, a lot's going to come out of that. Not to worry. I'm not going to filter as it goes through the heat exchanger. I'm just going to nuke it with caustic afterwards. But hopefully, I'm not going to use the pump. I'm just going to let it go through the heat exchanger by sort of gravity and siphon. So it'll be nice and slow. But big bag, Progress hops. I think my favourite thing about brewing is the smell. as the copper does its ting, it's just beautiful. And it's before the hops have gone in. It's just such a beautiful smell. I don't know if I've mentioned this. Actually, I have mentioned. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. When I was a child, a little child, hard to believe, I know, but I was once. We lived sort of in the middle of nowhere, but every now and then we'd go into the nearby town. And the two main industries in the nearby town was a brewery and a glue factory. The glue factory made its glue by boiling down animal bones and animal remains, and it smelled foul. They used to make glue on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and you could smell it for miles and miles around. It really was awful, wrenching, just awful. But on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday, the brewery would brew, and this is the smell. This is the smell I remember from that brewery. And so as a consequence, we didn't really go into town very often on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Excuse me. I can still remember that horrible smell of the boiling down the animal remains. Usually horses, I think it was. But yeah, anyway. We've got a boil. We've got a boil. Oh, we got the hops in. And I hope I've measured this so that that bag can't get low enough to hit the elements. I don't think it will. And we'd have to stretch a bit to get down there. So good. We give it a bit of a. I don't know if I can do this without steaming the camera up. Possibly. Yeah, maybe. Look at that. All those lovely leaf hops. Good. So timer's now set for another 30 minutes. Hey, the 30 minute hops are in. And these are hop pellets, so they will swell up quite magnificently. Lovely. Oh, the smell. Oh. Yeah, I do a lot of pales, hazy pales, New England IPAs, that sort of thing. There's something about a bitter, or a, you know, what we used to call sort of like a bitter, but we used to call it a light ale. So let's get this lid back on. Whoa. A light ale bitter type thing. Beautiful. I am now, we've got about 11 minutes to go before the proto flock and yeast nutrient. So I'm circulating from the copper out through the heat exchanger and then back into the Whirlpool, and this is just to finally, and because it's nearly 100 degrees, it will be in a second, sterilize the heat exchanger. And then at about 15 minutes to go, I'll run it through again just before I put the proto flock etc in, so that there's still a little bit of a whirlpool. Then turn it off, and then that will cool down sufficiently enough so that when I start throwing cold water through there, it will come out at a temperature which is okay for the Firmzilla. Oops. I'm about to take a final gravity, but you know, I know all that rubbish. So this is the Bond yeast, and it's saying 40 to 100 per hectolitre. So I'm gonna go in at about 55, maybe 50. 40 per hectolitre over there would be about 30. So I think I'm gonna go 50. Yes, I'm gonna go 50, and come back when I'm ready to bang it all together. Got quite late, so went into here, came in at 20 degrees all in. Fair cop, good enough, exactly what I wanted. Something strange gone on with my efficiency. I wanted a post boil gravity of 1.050 ish. On the calculations I did, it is between 1.0485 and 1.050. It's coming at 1.0545. So it's going to be a bit stronger than I calculated. I'm not sure why. I don't know how that's managed to happen. I'm going to have to go back and do my sums again, have a little look at me bitses. So I'm going to drop it. Do you know, it's 7:30 at night now, and those fuckers on that fucking bike thing are still pissing around outside. I'm half tempted to phone the police. And yeah, anyway, but so I'm just treating myself with a little schnifter from here, from the this is Barry 4, this is Barney's 4. There's been a Barry or two in between. Didn't like them, got rid of them, and there's been one other Harvey's, but this is going to be the one. I know. I didn't even bother. I just recycled their numbers. In here we've got the Farmhouse Saison Fruity Pale. I'm gonna can some of those probably tomorrow, and can some of these tomorrow just as samples for people. The more I taste that in there, the Farmhouse Saison Fruity Pale, the more I quite like it. I might have been swung. People might have swung me. So anyway, for that, for now, that's that. And yeah, see what it's like when it's started to. Oh, I made a yeast. I rehydrated some yeast in a jug, and it just exploded all over the place. That's the Bond yeast. So I don't think it'll be long before this kicks off. It's at 20 at the moment. I quite like the idea of starting it at 20. Then I'm going to drop it to 19, then 18. I think 20 is about the top of its range. So I think a nice sort of 18.5, 18 once it's all started, kicked off going. Right, anyway, back when there's something else to video, because it's bloody late, I'm hungry, and where is it? I'm having a drink. This is the next day. So I made a rehydrated starter. Well, it's not really a starter. I rehydrated 50 grams of this Bond yeast and then vac packed it again. And so I put the starter aside. I actually put it in the microwave but not turned on, just to stop any pathogens getting in there really. And it kind of like exploded all over the place. I chucked it, I pitched it all the same, but I think now reflecting I might have pitched it quite low because there's no real activity in there. So I'm going to do another, I'm going to chuck 25-30 grams in, make another, I don't know whether to rehydrate it or chuck it straight in. Oh, decisions. Ooh, there we are. This is Barney's number 4. And I like the colour. It is more of a light ale bitter than a bitter. Tastes alright. I haven't done the final gravity check yet. I've set it on here to cold crash. It was bloody cold. In fact, just take a look at this. I'm not saying it's cold or anything. Scraping ice off the inside of the windscreen. You bastard. There you go. It really was cold. And what I had to do was, I've got an electric blanket on there, and I also pulled this heater up against it, not on full heat obviously, and then just managed to keep the temperature at the fermentation temperature of 18 degrees. It was bloody cold. Fortunately it's all warmed up a little bit now. I'm going to take it all off now. I was going to chuck some Browsol P in, but it's out of date. I only bought it last year and it says it went out of date in 2022. Not happy about that. So anyway, I've got some more on order. Some more will be coming soonish. I don't think it's ever going to be the clearest, but I think I can probably get it a little bit clearer than it is. Okay, I'm going to wrap this video up now, otherwise it will just go on forever. We have, yeah, Barney's number 4. And yeah, it's a nice light ale. I was going to put some into, I've got some plastic pins outside that David, hi David, by the way, David has very kindly donated. I've got 6 of those. A pin is 4.5 gallons. But I just, I want to take advice on how to clean them. So, sorry if you can hear rustling. These are the bungs that David dropped off for me. So there's the Keystone cops, the Keystone hole bung thing, and then the thing that goes on the top. Never mind. People into casks will know what I mean. But I think, well, we'll see. I'm sort of starting to carb this, not massively, but what I don't want to do is overcarb it. Plus I'm going to drop some Browsol P in there, so I might have to use some kegging yeast. We'll see. I haven't decided, but that'll be for another day, because otherwise you'll all have lost the will to live watching this. As always, whatever you're doing, you do it carefully and you take care out there. Cheers.
Why you're touching her? Stop touching her! don't touch her. Please, do not touch her. Please, you are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her. Don't touch her.
What's the problem? What's the problem?